Game 2, and Ousmane Dieng and Cam Thomas had the performance that people were hoping, at least from Cam Thomas, but Ousmane Dieng surprised people, and I thought that was so much fun. I want to hear your thoughts down below in the comment section, what you guys think of the Bucks win over the Orlando Magic. I'm talking about a game where 34 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists on 12 of 20 from the field, 4 of 6 from 3 in 25 minutes by Cam Thomas. The Bucks get a much-needed win, and this was after they had lost 2 days before to the Orlando Magic themselves. Currently, they are a team that has had a plethora of injuries. Ryan Rollins was ruled out with a foot injury, and Giannis has started, I think, to get closer to coming back from that calf. We haven't got much clarity, and then the Bucks applied for the disabled player exception earlier in the year, and that's them indicating that they don't anticipate him to play the rest of the year. So let's just get into this performance. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think of Ousmane Dieng and, of course, Cam Thomas. And do you think Cam and Ousmane are going to make a big impact on the team or not? So the Bucks won 116-108 over the Orlando Magic, and the current NBA standings have the Bucks as a team that is trying to fight to be in the play-in. They are currently behind the 10th seed, 2 games, which are the Atlanta Hawks. They are 2.5 games behind the 9th seed Hornets, and they are 4.5 games behind the Heat, and now 6.5 games, or well, 5.5 games from the Magic. So they can make the play-in. The playoffs outright as the 6th seed would be a little bit harder because it's almost like 10 games out. But I think this might have been proof of concept for this new look roster. Even though there's injuries, the Bucks and the rest of the basketball world waits for Giannis Antetokounmpo to return from his self-diagnosed calf strain. Cam Thomas and Ooze have stepped in and immediately looked like guys that Doc Rivers might think is a missing piece to his rotation. And when I say Ooze as a Jew, I feel like I'm like saying something in German. Ooze, yeah. Either way, let's break down how they've played very well. Obviously, the first game they worked their way in, but in the second game, the leash was extended, and they seem like perfect relief valves for the rotation. Cam Thomas, we know him as the professional scorer, 34 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists in 25 minutes off the bench. He was shooting lights out. He was the exact microwave scorer that Doc Rivers and the Bucks have needed to bridge the gap between the starters and the bench. And then Ousmane Dieng looking like a point forward that they have his restricted free agency if they want to tender the qualifying offer this offseason. And could this be a reclamation project, a diamond in the rough that we didn't see because he had played more G League games than the NBA games, as he was buried on the NBA championship team that was the Oklahoma City Thunder? 17 points, 3 rebounds on 5 of 8 from 3 in 23 minutes. Dieng provided the floor spacing, 62% from 3, but like obviously he's not going to do that every night. Just showing that what he could provide. A little tasting, a little appetizer. And he's a guy who could pass, a good secondary playmaker, that connector that allows the Bucks to maintain their ball movement without Giannis, and someone who's going to be able to play with Giannis or be a reliever of Giannis and help them in fast break. Now, Doc Rivers has historically favored 2 specific bench roles that Cam Thomas and Dieng now fill perfectly. The Lou Williams, Jamal Crawford, 6th man successor. We've talked about this for a while. Every time we've talked about Cam Thomas, I think he's at his best as a 6th man. Doc Rivers loves a combo guard who can walk onto the court and create a shot out of nothing like a magician. Cam Thomas provides that scoring, that pulls something out of nothing, out of his rear end. And for the second unit, taking on the scoring load helps Kevin Porter Jr. and a guy like AJ Green, who's better off ball and better when he has room to score or shoot in this case. and the rest of the team feeds off of that. While Dieng fills this versatile wing connector, Doc has always coveted and enjoyed players who have the length that can also space the floor. Dieng's 6'10" with a 7-foot plus wingspan and the ability to hit shots from the perimeter make him a potential nightmare matchup, as he allows Kyle Kuzma and Bobby Portis to play more naturally without having to overextend as primary creators. This helps the supporting seven, with Giannis sideline at least through the All-Star break, maybe till the start of March. Cam Thomas and Dieng are able to stabilize the rotation, build chemistry, and hopefully go on a run to get this team in playing contention to maybe they could be similar to the 2022-23 Miami Heat, a play-in team that goes all the way to the NBA Finals as the East is wide open. So for Ryan Rollins and Kevin Porter Jr., who have started together but also relieved one another when one starts and the other doesn't, as the team's primary initiating lead guards, they no longer have to force every possession when they're fully healthy, and having Cam Thomas there. Cam Thomas's scoring gravity opens the lanes for Rollins, Kevin Porter Jr., when Giannis returns, Kyle Kuzma, and whoever else it may be to drive to the rim. And then Myles Turner, Bobby Portis, and Jericho Sims. Turner, who had 2 blocks tonight, can focus on being the anchor, while Dieng on the perimeter, being able to guard 1 through 4, helps guard the point of attack and contain, preventing Turner from being dragged too far from the rim, similar with Jericho Sims and Bobby Portis, who aren't as good defenders as Myles Turner. And also for Bobby Portis and Kyle Kuzma, Portis can go back to playing bully ball against secondary defenders, because teams are going to have to stay home and be forced to stay at home, versus Cam Thomas and Dieng ability to space the floor and create. And Kyle Kuzma will probably get better looks now, as he won't be forced into a higher volume shot diet where he kind of becomes a shot chucker, which nobody enjoys. And we know that Giannis from the training staff is that he is making rapid strides with his right calf strain. While he's missed 6 straight games, the team is taking a cautious approach. The goal is to return after the All-Star break, and that's why I said probably earlier in March. But I think what we've seen has been phenomenal, and if you're a fan of the Bucks, you have to be really stoked about what has happened. So if you made it this far in the video, let me hear your thoughts. Did you guys enjoy the performance by the Bucks, and do you think this is going to lead to maybe a foreshadowing of what is to come? And can they save their season? And will that lead to Giannis staying, or do you think he's already gone? If so, let me know. I definitely think it's an interesting one, because it's not like it's ideal. I don't think the way the season has gone, but the fact that you got these 2 players for basically nothing could be a little justice desserts for a season that might not be going the way that fans would have hoped, and maybe something to hold on to regardless of what the future may be. So that's where I want to hear your guys' thoughts in the comment section. What do you guys expect and why? I definitely think it's an interesting situation, and that Cam Thomas ended up in the perfect place for him. And surprisingly, maybe Ooze did too, which Ousmane Dieng, what a guy. Real fun. If you made it to the end, like, comment, and subscribe. Ciao.